Assalamu alaikum friends, welcome to my channel MBBS and BDS lectures. Today our topic is related to dental material composite restorative resins. Before going to explanation, if you want to watch the same lecture in Urdu Hindi, I already upload the same lecture in Urdu Hindi on my YouTube channel. Go and watch the video. But if you want to watch in English language, then this video is for you. Now today our topic is composite restorative resins. First, what is the word composite mean? What is the word restorative mean? What is the word resin mean? Composite mean any substance which is formed by combination of two or more different material. This is the definition of composite. Now come to restorative. Restorative mean in dentistry to restore the function, aesthetic of tooth. If cavities are found in the tooth, when we fill this cavity, we restore the function of tooth, we restore the structure of tooth, we restore the aesthetic of tooth. The third word is resin. Resin are basically the composite resin are resin in nature. Now, how we define composite restorative material? More composite restorative material is a compound mean formed more than two or more than two different material. Second, its properties is superior to individual component. Now, how we define the composite resin? We define the composite resin in such a way. Composite resin is a compound which is formed two or more than two different component, which properties is superior to individual component. Mean from those components from which composite is formed, when we compare the composite with those components, the properties of composite is superior than individual component. Why? Because composite is combination. Now the definition is composite restorative resin is a compound formed more than two or two different component. Its properties is superior to individual component. Now, how its properties is superior to individual component? Like there are 6 components in structure of in composition of composite resin. First, if we compare the resin matrix with composite. Now, composite have these all 6 components, but if we compare the single resin matrix with composite, now resin matrix do not have strength. Why? Because resin matrix have no inorganic filler particle, but composite resin have strength. Composite resin have aesthetic. Composite resin have less polymerization shrinkage. But if we compare the resin matrix, only one component with composite, it's the composite properties is superior to that component. Why? Because composite is a combination. If we compare the composite with inorganic filler particle, this is one component. Now, inorganic filler particle do not have resin matrix, but compositive resin matrix. Inorganic component do not have shade variation, but compositive shade variation. Inorganic component do not have backbone and compositive backbone. Mean that the composite properties are superior to its individual component if we compare with each of component of composite resin. This is the definition of composite restorative resin. Now come to the combination. In combination, there are 6 components in the composition of composite resin. The first is a resin matrix. Now, we study the composition, each component of composite resin plus each component function also. First is resin matrix. Resin matrix is made up of bis-GMA and TEC-DMA. Now, the bis-GMA is viscous, highly viscous at room temperature. We cannot use clinically at room temperature. Therefore, to reduce its viscosity, we introduce TEC-DMA in the structure of resin matrix to decrease the viscosity of resin matrix at room temperature. Now, the resin matrix is composed of two components, bis-GMA and TEC-DMA. Bis-GMA is high viscous at room temperature. To decrease its viscosity, we introduce the TEC-DMA in the structure of resin matrix. Now, what is the function of resin matrix? Resin matrix acts as a backbone for composite. Mean the main component, the main part of composite resin is resin matrix, which acts as a backbone of composite. Second is inorganic filler particles. The inorganic filler particles in composite have mainly three functions. Number one, it gives strength to composite, mean compressive strength. Second, it gives aesthetic to composite. Number three, it decreases polymerization shrinkage. Now the composite is resin. When resin set, it's set by polymerization reaction. In the result, there will be polymerization shrinkage. Now, when we mix inorganic filler particle with resin matrix, it decreases the polymerization shrinkage. Now the second inorganic particle is complete. Now the third component is coupling agent. Now the resin matrix is organic in nature and the filler particle is inorganic in nature. When we mix these two components do not react with each other because these two components are insoluble with each other. When we mix coupling agent with these two components, then coupling agent create a bond between organic and inorganic component, mean create a bond between resin matrix and inorganic filler particle. Now the coupling agent is organosaline. What is the function of a coupling agent? Make bond between resin and fillers. The fourth component is activator-initiator system. Now the composite resin is mixed by polymerization reaction. To start the polymerization reaction, we start polymerization reaction by two methods. Number one is chemical cure. With the help of chemical, we start polymerization. Second is light cure. With the help of blue light, we start the polymerization. The third is dual cure, mean the dual cure system have both chemical activation and light activation. For light activation, there will be photoinitiator in composite. The photoinitiator and activator inhibitor system is Kapoor-Curon, which start the polymerization reaction when we focus the blue light on composite during setting. The fifth component is inhibitors. Now the inhibitors is butylated hydroxytoluene. What is the function of inhibitor? During polymerization of composite, the free radical are formed. To inhibit the free radical, we introduce the inhibitor in the composition of composite. Now the inhibitor is butylated hydroxytoluene. What is the function of inhibitor? Inhibit free radical formation during polymerization. The sixth component is coloring agent. Now the coloring agent, what is the function of coloring agent? To produce different shade of composite. Now composites are available in different shade, like in yellow shade, in white shade, in more whitish shade, because every individual teeth shade is different. Therefore, when we do composite filling, first we match the shade with the tooth shade, then we do the filling of these tooth with the help of composite like A1 shade, A2 shade. Now to produce different shade, we mix the coloring agent with in the composite composition to produce different shade of composite. Now the coloring agent is metal oxide like titanium oxide, aluminum oxide. These are the 6 components in the composition of composite restorative resin, and we studied the function of each one. Now after definition and composition, come to the classification of composite restorative resin. Now in each type of composite, the resin matrix is always same. The resin matrix is always same. But which component create a difference in different type of composite? The inorganic filler particle. This inorganic particle is different in each type of composite, but the resin material is same. Now which when we classify the composite, we give importance to which bases of inorganic filler particle. First, there are 3 bases on which we classify the composite resin on the basis of inorganic particle. First, we watch the type of pillar particle. Which pillar particle are present in composite? On the basis of this, we make a type. Second is particle size of inorganic particle. The third is loading. Loading means percentage of pillar particle. Now, to see these 3 bases, these 3 properties of inorganic filler particle, we classify the composite resin into 3 types. First is first generation or macropilled, second is second generation or micropilled, the third is hybrid composite. Now in each type we see these 3 properties of inorganic filler particle. In first generation composite or macropilled, the type of pillar particle is aluminosilicate glass. The particle size is from 1 to 50 micrometer. The loading mean percentage by weight is 70 to 80%. The fourth property is non-polishable. Mean first generation are also known as traditional composite, are also known as macropilled, are non-polishable composite. And when we watch the 3 properties, on the basis we classify the composite resin into different types. The first property, type of pillar particle, first generation of aluminosilicate glass. The particle size of first generation is from 1 to 50 micrometer. The loading mean percentage by weight from 70 to 80%. And the fourth property is it is non-polishable. We cannot polish the first generation or traditional or macropilled composite. Now, why it is called macropilled? Because the percentage of inorganic particle in this type of composite is high, like by weight 70 to 80%. Now come to the second generation or micropilled. Again in second generation we watch again these 3 property on the basis we classify the composite. The first type of pillar particle here is in second generation colloidal silica, mean colloidal solution of silica. The particle size is from 0.01 to 0.1 micrometer. Loading mean percentage from 50 to 80%. Therefore, the loading percentage is less in second generation. Therefore, second generation is known as macropilled. And in first generation, the loading mean percentage is more from 70 to 80%. Therefore, known as macropilled. And the fourth property of second generation, it is super polishable. Means the polishing property of second generation is best. Now come to the hybrid composite. The third is hybrid composite. Again, we see these 3 properties in hybrid composite. The first is type of pillar particle. The type of pillar particle. Now, hybrid composite is formed by mixing up first generation and second generation. When we mix the first and second generation, in result there will be hybrid composite. Now, in hybrid composite, the type of pillar particle is come from both generation. When we mix first generation and second generation, now in hybrid the type of pillar particle is 2. One from first generation, second from second generation. From first generation there will be aluminosilicate glass, and from second generation there will be colloidal silica. Like here the type of pillar particle is come from first generation, second generation combination. From first generation aluminosilicate glass, from second generation colloidal silica. If in Viva teacher ask, tell me the type of pillar particle in first generation, what will be our answer? Aluminosilicate glass. If teacher ask, tell me the type of pillar particle in second generation, our answer is colloidal silica. If teacher ask, tell me the particle type, inorganic particle type in hybrid, our answer will be aluminosilicate glass and colloidal silica. We tell two inorganic filler particle type. Second is particle size. Here the particle size is range from 1 to 8 micrometer. Third, loading mean percentage from 70 to 75%. And the fourth property is semi-polishable. Now, the first generation is non-polishable. The second generation is super polishable. When we mix non-polishable and super polishable, in the result there will be semi-polishable composite. This is the classification. On the basis of these three properties, we classify the composite into first generation or micropid, second generation or micropid, the third generation is hybrid composite. Now, why we form the macropid and micropid? Macropids have high percentage of inorganic particle. These are used in high stress areas like in posterior cavities when there are more occlusal forces. To withstand these occlusal forces, we use macropids in posterior cavities. Now, the micropid we use in anterior teeth cavities where there is no heavy occlusal forces. Now come to the, after classification, come to the uses. There are four major uses of composite restorative resin. Number one is use in anterior teeth cavities. In anterior teeth cavities, we use the composite restorative resin. Now the question is why? Why we use in anterior teeth cavities? Because in anterior teeth cavities, our requirement is aesthetic, our priority is aesthetic, and composite is the most aesthetic restorative material, most aesthetic than GIC, and also available in different shade according to the tooth color shade. Therefore, we use composite in anterior teeth cavities. And from where the aesthetic come? The aesthetic come from inorganic filler particle. Second use is use in posterior teeth cavities. Composite restorative resin are also used in posterior teeth cavities. Now the question is why? Why it is used? Due to its strength. And from where its strength come? The strength is come again from inorganic filler particle, like in macrofield. Due to high percentage of inorganic particle, the strength is come. The third use is used for tooth repair. When any part of tooth become broken, we repair it by composite restorative resin. Why? Because when the tooth cusp is broken, when the tooth any surface is broken, we restore it by composite resin, because composite resin available in different shade, and composite resin is the most aesthetic material. Therefore, we repair the broken tooth by composite resin. The fourth use is used as a fits and fissure sealant. Now in posterior teeth, there is a fits and fissure. What is fit? The localized depression is known as fit. What is fissure? The horizontal groove, like in occlusal surface of tooth. In occlusal surface of tooth, there is a horizontal groove. This is known as fissure, and there is a localized pit. localized depression. This is known as pit. This is pit, this is fissure. Now the pits and fissure is the best shelter for bacteria. The best shelter to accumulate food and bacteria here. Therefore we close these pits and fissure by composite resin to prevent the shelter of bacteria. Therefore we use composite as a pits and fissure sealant. Now today our topic is complete. We studied the composite restorative resin definition, composition and each component parts, classification on the basis of this property into first generation, second generation and hybrid, and also uses. Now today our topic is complete. If you like my video, press the like button and share this video with your friends. If you are new to my channel, subscribe my channel by pressing the red subscribe button and also press the bell icon to open all notification in order to you receive my each new video notification. For watching my videos, I am very thankful to you. Thank you very much.